Hey, it's Belange here, and I want to talk today about the inconvenient truth about entrepreneurship. And you need to hear this if you are planning to go on this journey of becoming an entrepreneur, becoming your own boss, as they say. These are some of the key things that I've learned along the way that were kind of new to me, but at the same time, they were like welcome guests, I guess. And some were very, very unwelcomed guests, but nonetheless, we move. So, when you are a entrepreneur, you become your own boss. Now, the first big hiccup is that if you've never worked under a boss, like an actual entrepreneur boss, then you don't know what it's like to do certain things, right? Becoming your own boss is great. But if you've never worked under a boss, then there's certain things that you just don't understand because now 100% of your time is your own, right? And now you have to choose how to make that time effective. Now, sitting at home all day is not exactly an effective use of your time. And more importantly, well, for me during the process was being motivated, right? Finding the motivation, finding the inspiration to continue doing the work day after day after day. Now, motivation is like lightning, right? It doesn't last forever, but when it's there, it's like spectacular, it's great. But like Picasso said, if inspiration strikes, let it find you working. So if you're not working on something and you get inspired, then it's just gonna fizzle away, right? You're gonna entertain it in your mind. You're gonna be like, oh yeah, 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 that's great. But if you don't pull it into action, the next 20, 30 minutes is gone. Go to sleep, wake up the next morning, and it's just another day. So when you're now your own boss, you have to set your schedules. You have to set your targets. You have to set your own boundaries, right? Because that's the true freedom. The true freedom is not the fact that you can do anything and everything. The true freedom is that you can set your own boundaries towards a particular way of living. And you can't rely on just motivation and inspiration. I think it's Elon Musk who says, I think it's Elon Musk who says, if you're an entrepreneur and you need me to motivate you, then I'm not your guy, because entrepreneurs can't keep waiting on external factors to motivate them to do what they need to do. Like the legendary Dan Kennedy, I read one of his books and he was like, even if I don't feel like it, I just go down and I start working, right? You just start working, and it's now up to you, 100% up to you. And it's one of the ugliest truths that they don't tell you. Well, nobody tells you. You need to go and find out these things when you want to become your own boss. And it always starts on the internal level. So the next thing, the sort of a very inconvenient truth as well that I found, is that you need to go through periods of absolute obsession. Like, I mean obsessed, because that's how you grow at a exponential level, is you become obsessed. I try to do this whole balanced life thing, and I'm gonna spend this much time on work and this much time, like I try to do this whole balance thing, but like I was moving slow. I was moving so slow. And then I came into the awareness of these like 90-day sprints, 60-day sprints, and I was like, all right, cool, these make sense now, because you can't go 100% all year, right? Physically, mentally, it's extremely draining and it's not good for you long term. You know, all the like play hard, work hard. You know, after a while, it's still that same body that's playing hard and working hard. So eventually it will just crash. So I wasn't trying to do this whole balance thing anymore. So I was like, all right, cool. I need to become obsessed in a particular part of my business or part of my personal development in order to get to the next level and stabilize there. Right. So I would do 60-day sprints, 90-day sprints where I'll be like, all right, cool. For the next 30 days, I'm going all in on marketing. I'm getting all the books, finding people to learn from. I'm going all in and then implement it into my business. All right, what's next? Sales, bang. All right, cool. I need to learn how to sell, what does sell look like, blah, blah, blah. Advertising, bang. I just kept going, one after the other, one after the other, one after the other. And I think it's Patrick Bet David or Davis, Patrick Bet David. I watched one of his interviews and he said when he didn't know something, he'll go and find like 20 of the best books in that subject and just go through them one by one, bang, 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 writing notes, writing your own thoughts on the notes so that it sticks in your brain, and then on to the next subject. And that's exactly what I did, because I couldn't try to do this balance thing. So this whole 8-hour day thing morphed into 12-hour days, 14-hour days. I will go all out because now your time is 100% your own. You now start to realize, where am I wasting time? Right? You're human. You're not going to just roll out of bed and just get cracking. You have to like get yourself awake, so to speak, right? So that might take half an hour, that might take an hour, whatever it takes. But you now start to monitor your time. How much time am I spending just on web browsing? You know, that was a big thing for me. So I went and got all these plugins on my browser that stopped me from browsing too much or deleting things off my phone, keeping my phone away from me. All of these things allowed me to create an environment that was conducive to me becoming more productive. And the second thing was overcoming anxiety, right? Because we don't know what tomorrow brings, right? But unless you become more self-confident within yourself, right, anxiety will always be like round the corner, and you'll always stop yourself from doing certain things because you're more focused on anxiety than you are on anticipating good things happening, because you are self-confident in yourself and the actions that you are taking. That in itself takes time. You don't just wake up and be like fully confident about every move that you're going to make. It takes time. So you then have to afford yourself that time. And it's inconvenient because it may take a month, 2, 3, 6 months for you to build that self-awareness, the self-confidence, the self-love to be like, I'm doing this thing and I'm going to be the best in the world at it, and I'm going all out. Like, I'm putting everything into it. It takes time to get yourself mentally into that mind space that you can look at another human being, and that human being, without you even saying anything, looks and be like, yeah, this guy is about his business, right? And that in itself takes time. And the final thing I would like to mention is imposter syndrome. I think I mentioned it in a previous video as well, but imposter syndrome is a real thing. You know, I didn't know it was a real thing, but when I read about it, I was like, yeah, I can see this. I can see it in myself, and I can see it how it affects people, because we always put other people on pedestals, right? So you need to learn how to take other people off pedestals And then you also need to kind of take yourself off the floor, right? Because you feel like an imposter, because it's like, well, who are you to say this? Right? You're another human being. You've got expertise. You've got knowledge in a particular field. You're good at what you've done. You've got other people results. So you are actually somebody. So it's almost like you come out of yourself and just criticize yourself and judge yourself. You got to give yourself that leeway to be like, no, it's fine. I am good at what I do. I have helped people, and I will continue to help people regardless of how I feel. So this whole notion of anxiety and imposter syndrome is very inconvenient, right? Because you want to take whatever you're doing and just make money like yesterday. But these things are very inconvenient because you come head against them and you have to tackle them, lay them flat, get them out the way, because circumventing them doesn't help, because they'll just come back around. So these are like, 3 or 4 very inconvenient truths. I hope they resonated with somebody, and just, me telling my story in regards to these things, and coming out on the other end and still plowing through these things as I continue my journey, this wonderful journey of entrepreneurship, and sharing it with you. So if this was helpful, drop a comment, like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Share it with a friend who's an entrepreneur and is enjoying their journey. So hope to see you on the next one.